All right, wonderful. So we're back. All right. I went to bed. I got back up. I guess I'm just excited to start. And yeah, so I got back up just to ramble to myself into a microphone staring at a screen with this incredible production quality. But options are interesting things in that they have a value that comes from you know if there is an option that has that guarantees that you can buy an underlying for $30 and the underlying is $50, then it that option automatically has a value of $20. That's wonderful. Um, that's intuitive. But what's difficult for a lot of people is that um, time is money, and it's a phrase, and people know it, and they go to work and they give their time to someone else, and someone else gives them money for their time. Like it's intuitive, but when when the value of time is deduced to a number on a screen, it suddenly becomes too opaque for people to understand, and it is a difficult concept, right? But a lot of the value in very many options is strictly how much time is left until the contract would expire or the buyer can no longer exercise their right to sell you shares or give you money in exchange for shares that you definitely wish you could have kept. That being said, uh, this is not as far as this graph extends. There are options on the market with like 1,000+ days until expiry, right? But you'll notice that this graph on the right hand side is very, very, very steep as it's going up, and it slowly levels off. And if you extended this out to 1,000 days, this line would become incredibly, incredibly, incredibly flat. But that's not what we're worried about. Uh, when we as investors, sophisticated investors, look at this chart, if you're anything like me, you are looking for the point on the graph where you can sell someone the right to lay claim to an asset that you have and quickly make money on their time and then leave. You can buy that claim back from them. And the point on this graph where the most money, the change is most dramatic, is from this point right here at 45 days and then this point right here at 15 days. I know that this seems very attractive, right? But 30 days until expiration. Stocks don't, and when I say stocks, I mean ETFs. Everything available for purchase through a broker. Um, they don't tend to wander very much in 30 days. So although this seems like it would be very profitable quickly, what matters most is how fast the change is occurring. There's a bunch of calculus words for this, and I don't want to use any because when I eventually get amnesia, I want to be able to listen to my own voice, explain it simply. Um, what's more important is how fast this line decides to go down. Um, and it decides to go down much quicker in this area than it does here. It's already going down here, but it's making the greatest change between 45 and 15 days. That's the money right there. We love that. At around 30 days, if you're already in, right? If you've already sold the contract at 45 days, on the 15th day, you know, maybe even the 16th day, the time value of the contract has reached its maximum point of change, and it begins to make the most money through this area. Okay, so what, right? I've told you that selling an option at 45 days and then buying it back at 15 is great. What, what am I going to do with that information? Wonderful. So thank you to Options Alpha for letting me steal this, and thank you for my channel being so small that they'll never see it. I love you. This is the best visual of the wheel I've ever seen. You sell a put option. I'm not gonna get too deep into it. There's much better videos than me, but you know, you sell someone the right to get your money, and in exchange you get their asset, and they pay you for the right but not the obligation to you know, shove a bunch of overpriced stuff your way. And in here, right, this seems very simple, but it is overstated in simplicity. Um, these positions are defensible in that if the put option isn't too deep in the money, if it doesn't have too much extrinsic value, you can kick it out in time, because time is money. So the further back you kick it, let's say that the put's in the money here at 15 days. Oh, it's in the money. Well, if I kick it back to, let's say, even 60 days, you've suddenly taken and refactored in this amount of time, and that's worth something to people, because in 60 days, if you sold a put option, the stock could drop even further, and people will pay much more to sell you the stock at the same high price more days from now. They'd be happy to pay for that. So while the time value of money is larger comparative to the intrinsic value of the put option, I'm going to sell, roll, and then get assigned when it's just not feasible that the time value of money is worth it. So get assigned, and then start selling covered calls. You know, sell someone the right to make me buy their or to make me sell them the underlying asset underpriced. Right. That's wonderful. I will literally sell someone something that they're ripping me off on. But they paid me to do that, so why not? The long-term monthly return of the S&P 500 is 0.56, but anyone who is following the market for any realistic length of time, when it returns big, and when the S&P decides to wake up, it chugs 3 cups of coffee and hits the pendulum and starts going. So it really goes fast. So I'm going to go and just assume 1% for every 29-day period uh, without going below cost basis. So if the stock dumps, obviously I've got to sell at cost basis. And since I'm purchasing shares of the underlying to get the flywheel started, that literally is whatever I got assigned for. You cannot double count premium. You will lose money. So since I was assigned at 50, I have to sell covered calls at a minimum of 50 in order to remain profitable. So it is what it is. But yeah, so once I get assigned on that, right, go back to selling a put option. Um, the reason that I want to assume 1% is because I would like to have capital gains in there. Um, and capital gains are such an interesting thing because you can actually roll up and out calls for like quite a while just to make more money, but you're giving up the ability to realistically as the call that you sold becomes further and further and further and further in the money, and you're just chasing the stock price up. Uh, the spread on calls narrows so much that you're basically paying $95 for the opportunity to make $5, and it just becomes unfeasible. So, in an ideal world, I will sell puts either at the money or gently above the money if everything's looking rosy and peachy and everyone's having a good time and Nvidia's going to 4 or 5 trillion, like whatever it is. Whatever's pushing the market up, I really don't care. As long as people think it's going to go up, it probably go up. So at the money, a little bit above, and hopefully it appreciates. You know, and I'll go back. The long-term monthly return of the S&P is 0.56%, right? So if the strike price is within 0.56% of the actual stock price, you might as well, right? I mean, like the average says, I mean, like, of course, past results are not indicative of. Past performance is not indicative of future results. But what else do we have to go off of? Like, what do I got? What are you giving me? I'm not going to ponder my orb and just see the stock price in a month. So, considering this is a good figure, I might even round up to 0.6 if I'm feeling froggy as hell. So, that being said, I'll sell calls out of the money. I would hope that since I'm beginning the flywheel on an S&P, that it would generally creep up in value with the money-weighted index that it is, and it'll just gently, gently, gently creep up. And in the ideal scenario, let's say I sell right here. The most ideal scenario is that I get assigned when the stock price is right here. It's not too far. That way I can go back to selling a put. Boom, at the money. This stock price that we're talking about, right there. Go back to selling right at the money. Everything's good, everything's slick, and all the while, every single bit of this, these premiums that I'm collecting when I'm selling here, selling here, selling here, selling here, they go into buying the underlying that I'm doing this on, and I will have a nice little peachy fun flywheel getting started. That's it.